The Lacey Spears Case. The relationship between a mother and a child is heavenly. But can a mother harm her own child? Let alone harm, can a mother be the cause of death of her own child? In today's video, we'll look at a similar case of Lacey Spears. Hello guys, if you want to learn more about this particular case, then keep watching till the end. Background. This is the story of Lacey Spears and her son, Garnett Spears. Lacey Spears was born and raised in Decatur, Alabama. She had much interest in children. She would babysit and later work at a daycare. Shauna Lynch met Lacey at daycare while she worked there. Lacey used to take her children in while she worked, and Lacey was good at her job. Lynch in an interview said that Lacey had a good relationship with her children and they adored her. But after a few years, she realized that Lacey was getting overly involved with her family and she stopped meeting her. Another person, Christy Burnham, whose son Lacey used to babysit. Her son Cameron told her that she was good at her job. But Burnham found something shocking. Lacey was telling people that Cameron is her child. Lacey became pregnant with Garnett in 2008 when she was 20 years old. Garnett's father was Lacey's neighbor with whom she was briefly involved romantically. His name is Chris Hills. She claims that Hill didn't want to be a part of Garnett's life, but Hill denies it and says that she lied to him. Chris Hill was Garnett's biological father, but Lacey has a different story to tell the world. She would tell everyone that Garnett's father was a police officer named Blake, who died in a car crash. She lied to the world and Hill, and told Hill that Garnett is not his son. As per Lacey, raising Garrett was no easy task, as he suffered many medical issues. He suffered from a severe ear infection, and he was not eating and was losing weight. He was diagnosed with failure to thrive, and only when he was 9 weeks old he would have stomach surgery to prevent vomiting. Garrett's condition worsened, and he was transferred from Decatur General Hospital to Birmingham's Children's Hospital. There he was diagnosed with high sodium levels, which was dangerously high at 166. The normal level for an infant is 140. A high level of sodium is dangerous and can cause severe health issues and seizures and swelling in the brain. The doctor was able to control his sodium levels and he was sent home, but she kept visiting the doctor, still claiming that she couldn't get him to eat. When he was 9 months old, he again had surgery to insert a feeding tube. The feeding tube, also called a G-tube, is used to put nutrition directly into the abdomen. But Lacey claims that his feeding issues still remained. In 2010, she, along with Garrett, moved from Alabama to Florida to live with Lacey's grandmother. He continued to have issues and she used G-tube to feed him. But Lynch says that the day they came to visit, Garnett was just a bouncing little 2-year-old kid running around. I never thought he was sick or anything. And then we had lunch and he ate just like a normal 2-year-old would do, pizza and drinks. Insight in Garnett's life and illness. In 2012, when Garnett was 3 years old, getting of age to be admitted to a school, they moved from Florida to New York. She claimed she wanted Garnett to have the best education possible. From a friend, she learned about a community located a bit outside of New York. The community is called the Fellowship for Elderly and Disabled People. The Fellowship's mission is to care for its elderly residents. Workers live on the premises, contributing to all aspects of the community, receiving free room and board, and schooling for children. She thought it would be an ideal location to live and raise Garnett. They met a Fellowship member named Valerie Plotch. She connected with Garnett and saw something special in him. Lacey told everyone at the Fellowship that Garnett is ill, but Plotch saw that shy boy was active and well. While she was asked about Lacey's relation to Garnett, she said that, "I thought she seemed like a good mother, and they had a very loving relationship. and she cared about him and talked about him all the time. Planche said, "As far as I could tell, he was hungry often, and I would have nuts or fruit on the counter and he would eat." But Lacey still claimed that Garnett still has a feeding problem and requires nutrition by G-tube. Dr. Ivan Darenkov, a pediatric gastroenterologist, saw Garnett for 5 visits over a period of several months in 2013, treating him for stomach ailments and checking on his G-tube. When asked about his views of Garnett's condition, he replied he was an absolutely healthy boy. He goes on to tell that the G-tube has been left in him for a very long time, and he advised Lacey to get rid of it, but she was not willing to do so. The doctor suggested many complex tests to check for serious illness, and they all came back negative. She was agreeing to complex tests, but when the doctor recommended nutritional evaluations to see if the G-tube was necessary, Lacey's reaction was different. The doctor also asked Lacey for Garnett's previous medical records, which she never provided. The doctor stopped seeing Garnett because he moved to a practice in another state. But these unsettling suspicions stayed in his mind, and he said, "Munchausen's by proxy was on my mind from day one." He was suspicious, but not certain, so he didn't inform any authority about it. Dr. Mary Sanders, a clinical psychologist and associate professor at Stanford University, was consulted regarding the case. Dr. Sanders has spent years evaluating Munchausen by proxy cases. Dr. Sanders never met Lacey personally, but she was necessary information about her, and she believed that Lacey suffered from the condition. When asked about the motive behind the Munchausen by proxy cases, she replied that the motives are various, but mainly to gain attention is the primary motive. Another thing she points out about the case is that Lacey posted all of this on social media, which is maybe to get a wider audience. When Lacey was asked about suffering from Munchausen by proxy, she denied it. She claimed that her psychological evaluation does not show anything like that or any other mental illness, but Dr. Sanders claims that psychological evaluation is not where they look for the problem, but instead they do so in the difference between what's being reported and what is seen clinically. Garrett's demise and the case. Everything changed in January 2014 when he turned 5. His condition started to worsen. He came down with stomach aches, fever, and headaches. He was taken to a pediatrician, but he could not figure out anything that was going on with him. Garnett seemed better for a while, but a few days later, his condition worsened. Garnett was admitted to New York's Nyack Hospital due to seizure-like symptoms. A camera was planted in Garnett's room for monitoring, with Lacey's consent. Lacey took care of her son like normal. He was improving, but 2 days after being admitted, he turned up with stomach issues and pain. The test shows his sodium level was dangerously high at 182, but surprisingly, they were normal at 138 when he was admitted. This high-level sodium can lead to death. Nyack Hospital transferred him to a more specialized children's hospital at Westchester Medical Center. Doctors quickly worked to bring his sodium levels down. But the high sodium levels caused his brain to swell, and 2 days after being admitted to the children's hospital, Garnett was brain dead and was put on life support. Doctors could not figure out how his sodium level got so high. It can only be if someone had given him salt, and the doctors suspected it was Lacey. Police were involved. They got a search warrant for Lacey's home. They took more than 150 items, including food, salt containers, holistic medicines, vitamins, syringes, tubes, etc. The police saw an IV set with a feeding bag that looked like it was filled with breast milk and did not take it. They also noticed a similar-looking bag in the garbage and decided to leave that as well. Lacey was very interested in the investigation. Lacey asked Planche to go to her apartment and dispose of the feeding bags. When she learned that the police were there, she didn't dispose of the bags, but took them home and gave it to the fellowship's leader, who in turn gave them to the police. After investigating, it was found that those bags had high levels of sodium. Each bag had the equivalent of at least 69 small salt packets. 2 days after Garnett's brain swelled from the effects of high sodium and he became brain dead, he was taken off of life support and officially declared dead. 10 weeks after Garnett's death, the court declared it a homicide, and there was only one person to be suspect: Lacey Spears. Lacey claims that she has not harmed her son, but the police and the Westchester, New York District Attorney believe she did harm Garnett. 5 months after Garnett's demise, Lacey Spears was charged and held without bail for murder in the second degree and first-degree manslaughter. Lacey Spears' trial began in February 2015. Lacey and her attorney Sachs and Stephen Riebling insist Garnett's death is a medical mistake, with Nyack Hospital at fault. In April 2015, Lacey Spears was sentenced, and Judge Robert Neary said, "One does not have to be a psychologist to realize you suffer from a mental illness known as Munchausen by proxy." He then sentenced her to 20 years to life. Lacey Spears will be eligible for parole in 2034. She will be 46 years old. So guys, this was the peculiar case of Lacey Spears. What do you think? Was Lacey correctly convicted or not? Did she really harm her son or not? So guys, what do you think about today's video? I hope you liked the recap. If you want more recaps on different murder cases, then please do mention them in the comment box. This was all about today's video. Guys, do give this video a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our next murder cases. Goodbye for today. Peace.